Support for If You Lived Here comes from
The Ewan Foundation, committed to bridging cultural differences within the greater Washington, D.C. community.
And now, If You Lived Here, a WETA original series.
Hi, I'm John Degany.
I'm Christine Louise. We've been friends and co-workers at WETA for more than 20 years.
And it feels like 50. We love living in the D.C. area, but finding a place to live here can be exciting and sometimes a little challenging.
So join us as we tour 3 homes at 3 price points.
And try to guess the listing price without going over.
And find out what it would be like if you lived here.
Oh!
Hey!
A man who knows how to make an entrance.
Yeah, I use this bike all the time to get around. It's a lot easier trying to park a bike.
Well, Georgetown is bustling. I grew up here, so, I've spent time in Georgetown. It's kind of a rite of passage. But, boy, have things changed.
They really have. I mean, they've changed a lot since I started selling real estate about 28 years ago. It's just gotten better and better as time goes on. Let's go.
The day begins.
We'll follow you.
This is P Street. I love this street because it's wide, it's filled with Federals, but it also has a nice mixture of a lot of the architectural styles.
So, how old are these homes?
Technically, in order to be a Federal house, it has to be built before 1820.
And what are the characteristics of a Federal?
Think of like the mindset of the Puritan thinking, really simple, functional, no frills.
There's so many great styles on this street.
Well, actually, the first house that we're gonna see is just up here. This is what we call the East Village.
Oh,
The
okay.
East Village. I have never heard that before.
Yeah, this house is in the middle of the East Village, which goes from Wisconsin Avenue to DuPont.
Yep.
The West Village goes from Wisconsin Avenue to the university.
All right, but I have to ask, how wide is this house?
Well, the outside is 9 feet.
Okay.
The inside is 8.1. It has a reputation for being the narrowest house in Georgetown.
All right, I can see that.
They're often called spite houses.
Okay.
The idea is that they built the house to spite the neighbor.
So technically, this would have been an alley.
Yeah, so I'll meet you out in the garden afterwards.
All right, sounds great.
Perfect. Sturdy door.
This is exactly how I imagined this house would be, because you can really feel the time period.
Yeah, it's nice to see original elements, right?
Original pine floors.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen these doors before, and that hardware shows the age of the house. Nice.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
So Jamie said it was a little over 8 feet.
Looks
I don't know
accurate
what my
there.
span is, but
You know what the great thing is about small homes?
not as much to clean.
Yes, but also they're cheaper to heat and cool. And what I love that they did here is low-profile furniture makes it seem like a bigger space. And it really is livable.
Hold on tight.
I know, watch your step. These are a little narrow. This is obviously the bedroom level.
Yep.
But, really, you have room for a bed.
Yeah.
And a walkway.
Yeah, it's a big bed.
It is, it is. Okay, so here we have.
Great door.
Oh, look at it, and they kept the live edge.
Very
That is
nice.
very nice.
That's a
Yeah.
beaut.
It is.
Okay, full bath.
And for a space this size, you're not gonna, obviously have big double vanities and everything, but this works.
It does. And that great skylight with plenty of sun and makes the space seem bigger.
It does. Now, this is a little hidden gem in here. You've got closet space.
This is my favorite little spot in the house
think
so
it
far.
is.
Yeah. Okay, lower level.
Sounds good. Now,
Uh-huh.
this is obviously the kitchen level.
Yes.
It really shows the age of this home in a good way.
The beams. I'm in love.
And the exposed brick.
Yep.
A nice space for a good-sized table.
Perfect.
But this kitchen,
Wow.
I am immediately drawn to these countertops.
Yeah, they're great.
This is such a unique design, and I think, is this soapstone?
I think that's soapstone.
Now, obviously, we're talking size here.
Yep.
So they do have smaller appliances.
That's essentially like a campfire stove.
Okay, but do you know what's missing?
An oven.
Yeah. Yeah, unless I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, no, I don't see one either. And I would say this kitchen needs an oven. Every kitchen needs an oven. That's just me.
That's you. I'm gonna check out what's back here, okay? Oh, we have a half bath.
Half bath. Okay, Jamie is in the back. Let's go meet him.
Good, because I want to check out this patio space.
Okay,
Hey.
Jamie. So that was a real period house, wasn't it?
It certainly did not lack in historic charm.
Yeah, that lower level with those beams,
The
lovely.
exposed brick.
Yep.
But can we talk about those countertops in the kitchen? I'm guessing that was soapstone?
Yeah, just like it would have been when they built this house. Also, there's this whole area, and that you can access it from the entertaining area. But to get back to what we're doing here is playing the game.
All right.
It's a period house in the East Village of Georgetown. It's 1 bedroom, 1.5 baths, just over 1,000 square feet, and it was built in 1876.
That feels about right.
Feels about right.
I'm gonna go with a listing price of $850,000.
I'm gonna say slightly higher, 875.
So the actual list price is $899,000.
Oh!
So I can't believe you got so close.
House number 1, Georgetown.
All
one for
right,
John.
One for John. Okay.
So now we're gonna go over to the West Village. I think you'll like it a lot.
All right.
Georgetown being gentrified in the sense that we understand gentrification today, that happened before the word gentrification was really coined. The first gentrification of what is now Washington, D.C., was pushing out the American Indian tribes, and Georgetown came shortly after that. If you want to kind of compress all of its history into a whole, and you want to talk about Georgetown as the thriving industrial port city, the way Georgetown looks today, walking down the street, is going to look very similar because it's a historic district, but the makeup of the people who live here are going to be very different. Many of the residents in the early 1800s of Georgetown were wealthy, mostly white, Southern plantation-owning families. After the American Civil War, a lot of things change around the neighborhood. Georgetown started to decline in the sense that it wasn't considered a desirable neighborhood. It is becoming very industrial with the C&O Canal. There was a thriving Black community in Herring Hill. So the makeup, the demographics of Georgetown were starting to change, and a lot of the wealthy families were moving up the hill to the fresher air away from the industry of Georgetown. It was still beautiful. The people who lived here had a sense of pride and community, and they loved their life here, but it was poor. Most people talk about its history of the rich and the famous, but Georgetown was founded by immigrants, and a lot of the immigrant history is focused here on Holy Hill. A lot of Scottish and Irish, but also German immigrants. These are the laborers and the workers who worked in the shops and the grocers. They were the doctors and the lawyers and the canal boatmen. They're really the part of Georgetown that made this a community. Around the time of the New Deal and the 2 World Wars, folks are moving into the nation's capital to work for the government, and they can't afford the homes in downtown Washington City, but they can afford the fixer-uppers here in Georgetown. With the influx of government workers who tended to be white, they started to not want the laborers, the workers, mostly Black residents living nearby. Around this time, a lot of the only places that these poor Black and immigrant workers could live were in the alleys. What we saw happen all over Washington, D.C., not just in Georgetown, is the Alley Dwelling Act, which essentially kicked the families out, raised the shacks and the buildings, and created parking spots for the larger houses nearby.
We're located on P Street Northwest between 27th Street and 28th Street. And this area is known as Herring Hill. Herring because there were herring fish in Rock Creek Park. It was also where many African Americans settled into a community that was self-contained. They had their mom and pop stores. They had their grocery stores, their beauty parlors. This block had 13, maybe 14 families living here. Most of them owned their property, which in itself during 1890s was remarkable. They had the foresight to own their property, which is going to be crucial. If you own your property, you don't get put out. And believe it or not, the owner, Raleigh Marshall, it was his great-great-grandfather's home, so the history is still alive here.
All right, Jamie, house number 2.
House number 2. This is a mid-size Victorian, built in 1904. This house is maybe a little easier to live in. The spaces have been modernized, have been opened, and I'll see you out in the garden in the back.
All right.
Sounds like a perfect
good.
plan.
All right.
Hey. Well, this is a neat footprint for an early 1900s home. The facade was very simple, and this has so much character to it. And I love that window
I
seat
know.
in the front.
And sometimes homes just have a really warm feeling to them.
Yeah.
And I think this place has that.
Yeah, I think it's because it has so many colors and textures. So it's got wood, it's got brick, it's
Right.
got these great built-ins. And then they're using the backspace for a living room, which I love. And I like this fireplace. It's simple, it's just red brick, but I think it goes with the house.
All right, and you know what? I have to say, the coziness just continues in this house.
This house is not a pretentious house. This is like a lived-in family house. And I like that it's right off the kitchen.
No, to me, that's perfect.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just going back and forth
It's
between the
true.
two. Into the kitchen.
Oh, first thing I noticed is exposed brick. It's amazing how much character a brick wall will add.
Okay, so you've got the old with the new.
Obviously, this kitchen has been redone, and it's been really nicely redone.
This kitchen has all the bells and whistles, right? New cabinetry, new appliances.
I was noticing that backsplash. I like it because it has that pop of, well, it almost looks like rust.
I think that's marble, or is it granite? I don't know, but
I'm
it
not
looks
sure.
really good.
It does.
I have a feeling there's a basement, so let's go see how we get there.
Okay.
Come on. Hey, where are you going? This is probably the way down.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. I don't see I don't see another door. I was expecting bigger. Oh,
Voila.
I wasn't expecting 2 doors like this for a basement. I think I like it, but I just wasn't expecting that.
Okay, how about
Okay.
this door to the left?
All right. Oh, we have a half bath.
Half bath. All right,
Okay.
let's head down.
Head down. All right.
Laundry, lots of storage.
Nice. Full bath
Full
down
bath.
here. And you know, I do love this tile.
Yeah, old school.
It is old school. And
Watch your step down
Well, thank you.
into a bedroom. So you have a whole ensuite down here, really.
We do. And you know, I wonder if this was dug out.
I think you are correct. And you have this great door with lots of light to the backyard. All right,
To the
up we
top?
go, to the top.
All right. Oh, did you notice the skylight as we were coming up the steps?
Hey, look who's looking up. Ooh la la, this looks like the main bedroom, no?
Yeah, this would be the owner's suite.
Oh, very nice.
All right.
Very modern.
And here's full bath.
Very nice new features in here for a classic house.
Here's the original window.
Yep, and that deep tub.
is
That's
a
on my
deep tub.
must-have list.
So I think I need a step stool.
It's pretty high.
Okay, and here we have a walk-in closet, and it's a big walk-in.
That's a doozy. All right, but it leads us to, goodness me, a very large space in the front.
Oh, this is really a large bedroom. I wasn't expecting this space.
Me neither.
Okay, and it's an ensuite.
And it has its own bathroom.
I really like what they've done with the space.
Oh, yeah.
So, shall we go find Jamie?
Let's go find it.
Okay, I think he's in the back.
All right, and that's something I've been waiting to see.
Yes. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Welcome to the back deck.
Well, I thought maybe you'd be out here making a few burgers on the grill.
I know, not a bad idea if it wasn't so warm.
That's what I like about this covered porch, that if the sun's out, you got some shade, and if it rains, you can still enjoy the space.
It's a very nice space. So what did you think about the inside?
I really like the renovations that were done.
It's a very warm house.
Right.
This is not a pretentious home. It felt like a place I could live.
Okay, just to recap, we're in the West Village It has a total of 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, just over 2,000 square feet, and it was built in 1904.
All right, I am going to make a guess. This is going to be interesting. Of $1,950,000.
I'm gonna go for 2.1 million.
Oh, hey, I like.
Okay.
I like that. I like your guess.
Well, you
see
two
if I
should
like
grab
it.
your checkbooks because it's $1,395,000.
Wow. See, we were that far off.
Wow.
Okay, well, this is house number 2.
Well, you have one more chance. We have another house which is super spectacular.
And we'll see if we'll do any better.
No promises.
Yeah.
We'll try.
Let's go check it out.
All right.
Wow, we were off.
Yeah, we weren't just off. We were like way off.
Growing up here in Washington, D.C., if you were a child of the 60s and 70s, and even into the 80s, and maybe even today, if you have nothing to do on a Friday or Saturday night, everybody says, let's go to Georgetown.
In 1984, we moved Commander Salamander to Georgetown. So when we first opened our store here, there was no major chain, so it was all little independent stores. Commander Salamander was a really small store. I mean, it was like 800 square feet, and we did unbelievable business in that store. Oh my God. It was so busy all the time, but it was something different, and everyone loved it. I mean, they just wanted to cling to it. The punks would even hang out in front of our store. I mean, we couldn't sort of get them to leave. You know, they would come and they would shop and they would hang out. High school kids, college kids, mothers bringing their kids. We sprayed your hair with hairspray in different colors. We gave buttons away that said Commander Salamander, so we made different buttons all the time. We made Commander Salamander t-shirts. So anything that had to do with kind of sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's what we were all about. I would have to say that I made Georgetown cool. I'm gonna say that. I mean, we were in the Wonder Woman movie. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Georgetown was historically an industrial neighborhood. It had nothing to do with boutique houses and boutique stores. It was just funky. Because back then, there was all of this great music that was coming out. You could roll a bowling ball and hit one club after the other. All of these great, rowdy bars and music. And in between, spotted along that, were these boutique restaurants that had historically catered to those that would come in for the nightlife. 1973 is the first time I walked through the doors of Blues Alley, and I fell in love with this place. Many call it the house that Dizzy built. In about 1983, Dizzy discovered Blues Alley, and he informed his peers that if they are going to perform in Washington, D.C., they need to perform at Blues Alley. And so Blues Alley became the go-to venue for countless entertainers. And if these walls could talk, they would tell you a long and storied history. What makes Blues Alley so special is its atmosphere. And the fact that everybody's there for the exact same reason. They're all snuggled together in this small room, and the electricity starts. My wife likes to liken our ownership of the club more as progenitors of the Blues Alley Flame than as owners of an iconic venue.
Here's house number 3. Your third chance to get it right. So this is a frame house built in the 1870s. We have a lot of these houses in Georgetown. They're built during and after the Civil War. They're built very well.
What's this historic trust sign on their front?
That is a historic easement, which means that basically they give you a tax break, and then from then on, forever, you have to go to them if you want to make any changes to the house. Okay, well, go on in. You'll notice there's a nice spot in the back where we can play the game. I'll meet you there.
All right, sounds good.
See you in a bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, from the outside, I knew this house was going to be formal.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it
Where you
is.
feel that formal feel the minute you walk in when you see this beautiful chandelier.
What do you mean the chandelier? How about this floor when you walk in
Oh
first?
my gosh, I didn't even notice the detail.
The beautiful marble floor.
Thank goodness for you to point these things out to me. All right, and...
All right. Speaking of formal.
Okay, how about you say formal, I say fabulous.
Yes.
You know, there are so many details in here, I don't even know where to begin. We've got fluted casing, but then we've got molding around fluted casing, and then we've got medallions on the ceilings that also have molding. You know, stop me at any point because I'm just gonna keep going
Oh, no,
on
there's
and on.
more. Keep on going. But if you're going to do a formal living room or a fabulous living room, go big.
We are
And
off to a great
onward.
start.
And look, it's a very beautiful dining room.
It just continues right on. But this room, again, it carries some of the architectural designs. You've got beautiful moldings, you've got medallions on the ceilings, and this chandelier. It's a statement piece and a conversation piece at the same time.
Okay, Tina. Now that is a window. To have something in that scale, because it's dramatic, but it really showcases how beautiful that hardscape is outside.
Okay, well, I think we are on a roll, so let's continue.
2 beautiful rooms down, more to come.
Okay, half bath.
Look at that floor.
Wow, drama.
Drama.
All right.
Delivered. Oh, I love this room.
Oh, yeah. I mean, talk about a cozy
Family room, yeah.
Yeah.
TV room, family room.
This is just how it should feel because, you know, we had the formal living room and the formal dining room, and now this is just your, let's just relax.
I love this room.
How do you like the wallpaper?
What
Is it
that?
suede?
No, it's felt.
Oh, it is? Okay, I gotta try. Oh, that's nice.
No, you know what? Wait a second. That's flannel. That is what that is. That is flannel.
Wow.
That's fancy
Okay,
wallpaper. I
is
feel
it-
weird touching the
I know,
wallpaper.
is that wrong?
That's wrong. Into a lovely kitchen.
This just has such a light, fresh feel.
Yeah, you know why? Because everything's white.
Right, obviously you've got the light floors, the light cabinets, countertops, and the tile. I really like the design on the tile.
I like how they use the different shade of tile above the stove as a little accent punch.
You know, yeah, it just pops.
Very nice kitchen. It's obvious it has all the high-end appliances you could ever want. But what I love in this kitchen is this big bay window. That's a very nice touch to this house and very necessary. It's the only informal dining room in the house.
Upstairs?
Let's go up and take this little staircase.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, an ensuite?
Hey, this is groovy.
Yeah, here's your bay window again.
I like that bay window.
Yeah.
I would work at that desk
I
every
know.
day. This is cozy. It is.
That is the word of the day.
It is the word of the day, but it is cozy. I want to come up with another word. I just can't think of a better word.
know.
Hey, and it's got an ensuite. Nice bathroom, all redone.
And look how big the shower is. That's a good sized shower.
I like this room a lot. Okay. Bedroom number 2.
Yes.
All right, good sized bedroom. Fits 2 twin beds. And it's for
And
guests.
it even has an ensuite, which makes it even nicer for guests.
All right, now, this is very interesting. I guess that goes to the hallway, to the front of the house.
I guess. I thought it was a closet, but you're right because we saw a stairway on the other side when we came in.
Let's just see here. Wow, we're both right, I think.
Well, I definitely see it as a closet.
And I definitely see that door on the other side, which I suspect goes to the main hallway. Okay, coast is clear. I was
so
right.
it doesn't go to another dimension.
No, it goes to the front of the house.
Okay.
Oh, it's the owner's
All right.
bedroom.
You know what? I'm not leaving.
We haven't even scratched the surface of this room. So much to take in.
I know.
From the size of it to the very nice polished features that they've installed.
I mean, obviously, this gorgeous chandelier above the bed.
Yeah, shell.
But look at the wall.
Yeah. Well, they created a custom wall, you know, with these built-ins, you know,
Right.
with night tables. Fantastic. Oh, and of course, there's an awesome walk-in closet.
Of course.
With its own washer and dryer. Oh, that is deluxe, my friend. That is so nice. Luxury at its best.
Okay.
Holy moly! Take a look at that.
I don't know if I've ever seen a tub that big.
Yeah, that's a small swimming pool.
Yeah.
Well, somebody find my socks because I think they were just blown off. Down we go.
So we have one more level.
One more level. We've seen 3 bedrooms.
Oh, well, these are a little narrow.
You know, old house, 1870.
True. Well, here is the 4th bedroom.
Yep, bedroom number 4. All right, I like the vibe of this room.
All the windows makes all the difference in a basement.
That's right, you have a door to the exterior, gas fireplace. So I'm guessing there's a bathroom on this
I
floor
would
as
say,
well.
yes.
Let's go check it out.
Okay.
But what a nice vibe in here.
All right. Yep. Oh,
Okay.
watch your head.
Watch
there
your
a
head. You got a
little
duct
bit.
to
Yep,
get into
little
this
bit.
one because of ductwork, but you know.
But again, a full bath.
Yeah,
So, and it's spacious.
it's a very nice bath.
Yeah.
That concludes our tour. Thanks for coming.
Hey, Jamie.
Hi.
Hello, James. Does anybody call you James?
My mother does.
Well, I thought I would use your formal name since this is such a formal house.
It's a beauty.
So much to love.
Right, because the minute you walk in, you have got these beautiful chandeliers, you know, formal living room, dining room.
Family room.
The
with the
family
kitchen.
room was my favorite.
Yeah, it's really
What
great.
a great space.
And then there's also the parking.
Yeah, parking, right.
Yes.
Big plus here.
This house is right smack in the middle of the West Village, you know, so this is a very good area.
This is prime, okay. This is helping us a little, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So to recap,
Stakes are big.
right? 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, 3,258 square feet. It was built in 1876. And to sweeten the deal, I've got a prize.
Oh, really?
Now, I tie these things, and
Yeah.
so I tied this one for you.
Wow, I want that tie.
Okay.
Okay.
Get that tie.
Someone's gonna walk away with the tie.
Okay. I'm gonna come in at a listing price of $3 million.
$3 million.
Okay, I am going to come in at a listing price of 2.9.
2.9. Well, the list price of this house is $3,450,000.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
Who's the winner here?
Okay, well, I guess you could say it's a tie because I won one, we both went over, and then Christine won this one. So it's a tie.
Okay, well, I'm gonna place the prize in both of your hands. And then you can decide.
There you go.
Well, oh gosh, thank you. You're such a gentleman.
It's like getting you ready for prom.
It really goes with your shirt.
Thank you.
It does.
Yeah.
It's rather smart looking.
Actually, there's one more surprise inspired by my mode of transportation.
Now that's intriguing.
Okay. Yeah.
The answer is yes. Let's do it.
If you lived here, one of the things that would surprise you is what a community there is here in Georgetown.
Everybody knows about Georgetown. If you know about DC, you know about Georgetown.
If you lived here, you would know the old stone house on M Street.
You can't mention Georgetown and not talk about the Exorcist steps.
If you lived here, get on the river. That's it.
I know you never forget to ride a bike, but
Sure, follow me.
oh wow. Really, I've not been on a bike in years.
Watch out, Weezy! Watch out! I need to adjust my seat.
We should do this more often.
Yeah.
To find out more about living in the Washington metro area, visit weta.org/ifyoulived-here. Support for If You Lived Here comes from
The Ewan Foundation, committed to bridging cultural differences within the greater Washington, D.C. community.